computer. Okay, good day, everyone. Thanks for coming again to testify with me. I have the wonderfully talented Sister Chiquita Bowleg. Sister Bowleg hails from Ernest Street Love Center. She has been married for 28 years and is mother to 2 adult children, aged 23 and 26. Sister Bowleg has been in the telecom industry for a number of years, but has recently transitioned to banking. All this time, in addition to everything that I just said, she's also the women's women's ministry director at Ernest Street, Church of God of Prophecy, the Love Center, and has managed to be an artist all at the same time. So what a wonderful thing that is. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today, Sister Bowleg.
You're more than welcome, Glenys.
Great. So I think you want to start with showing us some of your dazzling work. I've seen snapshots of some of them and it takes my breath away. So take it away.
Thank you for saying that. No problem.
Wow. I am impressed. I'm impressed. First of all, that you have such a big portfolio and you managed to produce these kinds of works. I'm wondering if you can describe your journey to becoming an artist for us.
Okay, my journey was one where I was kind of like, I felt stuck. I think it must have been like 2015. And I think I was around 42, 40, going into 43. And I have an uncle that's a very prominent artist. His name is Kevin Cooper. So I always admired his work. But for me, it's like, I was kind of, like I said, I was feeling stuck in my career. I was feeling stuck in life and I just needed an outlet, and art was my outlet. So I just started to buy canvas. I started to paint, and who was it? It was one of my friends, Dion. He's also an artist. He actually lives in Elizabeth Estates in that community. Dion Lewis, excuse me. So I would buy his work. I was buying his work from, I was working on Bay Street, which was around 1995. I would just pay on his work, pay on his work, pay on his work. So I knew I had a love for art, but I didn't think I was an artist. So in that period of being stuck, or what artists usually call a blue period, where you feel like, I just need an outlet, I need to release some of this, it's like a mental tension.
Yeah.
But I did that through art, and I just started painting. I bought everything I needed, acrylic paint. I bought my canvases. I started drawing on my canvases, and I just got inspiration. I always, like, most of my thought process and my strategy for painting was based on my childhood. Like, I would remember I had an uncle that was a commissioner. So I would island hop with my aunt all the time. That was my father's sister. And we'd go to Eleuthera. I'd also visit my mother's family on Grand Bahama and Abaco. So I had a lot of summer vacation stuff still stuck in my head from childhood. And the way my mind works, and if you look at my paintings, they're very whimsical. They're like childlike almost. It's because that's where I go in my head. I go to my childhood, and all of that just comes out in the painting. And I always want the colors to pop. I want them to spring off the canvas, and that's always my objective. So thank you for that question.
Not a problem. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I love hearing about people's stories about, um, even at, at an older age, like all of us are getting to the place where, we found some of us are entrenched in our careers already, but we're missing that something, that extra something. And I think that's where God, kind of gives us a tap tap and says, you're not your career.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that I created you to do. So were you did you have any obstacles to actually um, getting started in pursuing art?
Not really. I would paint without an agenda. I would not to say sell, even though I've sold paintings.
Mhm.
And they kind of they're in demand sometimes, but like I say, I still go into my blue period where I don't paint.
Ah.
um, and when I get that inspiration, sometimes with the inspiration, it floods you, and
Mhm.
sometimes you kind of suppress and you regress from it. So when I get that flood,
Mhm.
I start to paint.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's an internal type of thing.
Mhm.
And when it starts, it just keeps bubbling, it keeps going over and over. And like I could do stuff all day. I can play with clay all day on canvas. But
Ah.
until I get that, like I can't do anything.
Oh, okay. All right. So for you, it's more of not something that you force per se.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's something that just comes out of you.
Yes,
When it comes, and you make the most of it.
exactly.
Oh, okay, because I know
Mhm.
sometimes, a lot of people, they struggle to write, I must write. I must
Yeah.
write right now, or I must paint, or I must compose something, etc. But I guess you don't really have to be so, you know, okay, all right. I'm liking this. This sounds like wisdom to me, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Do you feel that God has ever spoken to you or somebody else through your art?
I think so. I think he speaks to me while I'm painting because
Okay.
I start to feel a surrender. I
Mm,
feel like a real surrender, like it's not my hand moving, it's his hand moving through me.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did have that feeling a lot of times. I was like, wow. And I'm kind of like a perfectionist. I keep going over the lines. I keep making sure all the colors are in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a creator that like I feel like how God feels when he creates something.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I did that. That's good. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a connection with God through my art because I feel some of the characteristics that he displays as our creator when
Mm-hmm.
I paint art or when I create art.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good point too, is that we are created by a creator to create.
Yes,
And it
that's a
really
good
doesn't
way of
matter what
putting
it
it.
is. We have that, one of those, we say we're made in the image and likeness of God. And some of those things that, is in God is in us. We're
Yes.
created to create, whether or not it's visual art, whether it could be music, could be cooking,
Yeah.
anything like that. And I think hearing your story is such an inspiration to me and probably a lot of other people listening, because sometimes we think we have nothing to offer or we have nothing to give. But
Right.
to remember that we were created by a creator to create, that's powerful stuff. Thanks for that. All right. So my last question is, what advice would you have for anybody who's interested in pursuing, say, like visual art or any other kind of art?
I would say start.
Start.
Yeah, start.
Mhm.
What I would do is I would scan the internet. I would look for inspiration because a lot of artists they get inspiration through their travels when they go
Mhm.
different places, different countries,
Mhm.
museums. art galleries, museums, they get inspiration from that. But
Mhm.
I couldn't travel when I was deep in my career the way I wanted to. So I would just put my mind into the internet. I would go look at art from all over the world.
Mhm.
Tokyo. I especially like art from Belize.
Ooh.
So they inspired me. Even though I was on a trip, I went on a cruise to Belize.
Mhm.
I didn't pick up on the art, but I started to scan the internet and I was like, I really like art from Belize. So
Oh.
I got a lot of inspiration from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I would say just start. Just
To start.
the YouTubes are there, the internet is there. You don't have to be stuck in one place. Your body may be stuck, but your mind doesn't have to be. So explore, and then there are always support groups. Like I would join Facebook support groups. I would post my art wherever I think it would be accepted. Sometimes it goes as far as France.
Wow.
I joined Fine Art of America. I
Mhm.
think I have about 13,000 hits since 2015. So I got a lot of exposure there. People will be like, where were you? What were you doing? How come we've never seen this and stuff like that? So that feedback was an inspiration. I felt
Mhm.
like I was part of a community as well.
Right. All these are very good things because I know a lot of persons, me in particular, sometimes you reach a rut in your craft and
Yes.
you kind of just sit there, you know. But you're saying that it's possible to reach out to other people
Mm-mm.
to actually, help you get out of that rut, whatever is causing it. Um,
Yes.
I think that's great. This has been pretty powerful. This has been I wish it would made sense to actually take notes, but at least this is recorded so I can do that while I'm listening
Right.
to the recording. Okay,
Right.
wonderful. Do you have any other comments that you'd like to say? Any other bits of advice or pieces of advice for persons who are, kind of feeling stuck or they're just not sure of what to do next? Well, let me ask you one question. Were you afraid to kind of launch yourself further into art, or was it more of a just a I need to take advantage of this avenue of release?
Oh, excuse me. It was all of that. It was an avenue of release. The exposure was good. I did do an expedition at Central Bank. That was nice before all this COVID stuff. Um, but I would say just, open yourself up and definitely, like I said, I would want people to value art. A lot of people they don't value it. Like
Mm,
it's someone's time, it's someone's energy. Like when my paintings are me, that's my energy. That those bright colors, those vivid colors. The
mm,
chase is the one with the fish chasing the little fish,
yeah,
which is like life. You sometimes in careers you always feel like you're in this chase.
right.
So that's what I captured in that one called The Chase. And I'm very repetitive in my art. Like if I get inspiration to do fish, I'll do fish for like a month or 2 months. I'll just paint fish.
Mhm.
Even though, and it's a symbol too, it's what represents Christianity. So fish are always stuck in my head. Like I have to say, okay, I'm not gonna paint a fish today. Um, so yeah, but I would tell the audience to value art because it
Mhm.
is someone's time and energy and practice that goes into it all. It's them going into that piece of music,
True.
into that piece of art, into
Mhm.
that pottery or whatever they decide to do, into that book.
Yes.
So yeah, I would tell people to value what you see. Don't just say, okay, that's someone's painting, but that's their energy, that's their
Mm,
soul, that's their spirit, that's them.
right.
So value that.
Wonderful, wonderful. It was a pleasure talking to you. I am looking forward to seeing more of your pieces someplace, and I'm sure we can talk later in the session about how to get a hold of you, for if anybody wants to see more of what you've done, or strike up a conversation with you. It's
Right.
been a wonderful pleasure. Thank you so much again.
Likewise, my pleasure. The pleasure is all mine.
Okay. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.